Your life is falling apart because you are addicted to the word maybe. You live in the gray area. You negotiate with your alarm clock. You debate your diet. You rationalize your procrastination. This nuance is not intelligence. It is a disease. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Starting right now, we are deleting the gray. We are stripping your mind down to the only two numbers that matter, 1 and 0. Yes or no, do or die. There is no try. There is only the command and the execution. Welcome to the binary mind. Chapter 1. The Poison of Maybe. You are drowning. You don't realize it, but you are. You aren't drowning in water. You are drowning in options. You are drowning in the gray area. You are drowning in the most dangerous word in the English language. That word is maybe. Maybe I'll start tomorrow. Maybe this isn't the right time. Maybe I need to do more research. Maybe I should keep my options open. Listen to me closely. Maybe is not a plan. Maybe is not a strategy. Maybe is a poison. It is a slow-acting toxin that paralyzes your central nervous system and creates a life of absolute mediocrity. You think maybe is safe. You think it buys you time. You are wrong. Maybe buys you nothing but regret. Nuance is the refuge of the coward. Let that sink in. I'll say it again. Nuance is the refuge of the coward. When you refuse to make a decision, you are not being careful. You are being cowardly. You are hiding from the reality of the outcome. You are terrified that if you say yes, you might fail. And you are terrified that if you say no, you might miss out. So what do? You hover. You drift. You exist in the limbo of maybe. And while you are hovering, the world is moving. While you are drifting, opportunities are dying. While you are thinking maybe, someone else, someone with a binary mind, has already said yes and is halfway to the finish line. You have a choice. Right now, in this very moment, you have a choice. You can continue to negotiate with your potential, or you can start operating in binary. The problem with maybe is that it creates an open loop in your brain. Human psychology tells us that the brain hates unresolved problems. When you say, "I'll think about it," your brain doesn't stop working. It runs a background process. It chews up your energy. It drains your willpower battery. Think of your mind like a smartphone. Every time you say maybe, you are opening an app and leaving it running in the background. You do this 10, 20, 50 times a day. Maybe I'll go to the gym. Maybe I'll call that client. Maybe I'll break up with my partner. By 2 p.m., your battery is dead. You are exhausted not because you did hard work, but because you spent the entire day holding up the heavy weight of indecision. That's the key. The exhaustion comes from the holding, not the doing. Let's look at the real world. Let's look at the difference between the elite and the amateur. Imagine a failing entrepreneur. We all know this person. Maybe it's you. This person has a business idea. They are excited, but then the fear sets in. They need a logo. Instead of picking a font and moving forward, they spend 6 months tweaking the design. They ask their friends for opinions. They read books on color theory. They say, maybe blue is better than red. Maybe I should hire a different designer. Why are they doing this? Are they pursuing excellence? No, they are pursuing safety. As long as they are tweaking the logo, they cannot fail, but they cannot succeed. They are safe and they are stagnant. Nuance is the refuge of the coward. Now, contrast that with a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. A CEO is presented with a losing product line. The data shows it's bleeding money. The emotions involved are high. People worked on this product. Careers are tied to it. The nuance is overwhelming. But the binary mind does not care about nuance. The CEO looks at the bottom line. Is it profitable? 0. Is it strategic? 0. The decision is made in seconds. Kill it.
There is no maybe we can save it. There is no maybe let's give it another quarter. It is a hard 0. The project is cut, the resources are reallocated, the company moves forward. The failing entrepreneur is still picking a shade of blue for a logo that no one will ever see. The CEO has made 10 decisions in the time it took the amateur to make none. That is the power of the binary mind. It cuts through the emotional noise and finds the executable command. You must stop viewing maybe as a valid answer. From this day forward, remove it from your vocabulary. If you are invited to a dinner party and you don't want to go, do not say, "Maybe, let me check my calendar." That is a lie. You know you don't want to go. Say no. If you have an idea for a project, do not say, "Maybe I'll try it." There is no try. Try is just a euphemism for "I am planning to fail." When you say, "I'll try," you are giving yourself permission to quit before you even begin. You are building a backdoor exit. You don't need their permission to close the door. You don't need the world's permission to be direct. It's not about being rude, it's about being clear. Clarity is power. Confusion is weakness. When you are clear, people respect you. When you are clear, you respect yourself. Every time you strip away a maybe, you reclaim energy. You close that background app. You stop the battery drain. Suddenly, you have the energy to execute. You have the focus to dominate. Here is the transformation. You need to audit your life. Look at your unfinished business. Look at the pile of papers on your desk. Look at the conversations you have been avoiding. Look at the dreams you have shelved. For each one, you must assign a value, 1 or 0. Do you want to write that book? 1 or 0. If it's a 1, you write it. If it's a 0, you throw the idea in the trash and never think about it again. Do you want to save this relationship? 1 or 0. If it's a 1, you go to counseling and you fight for it. If it's a 0, you leave. There is no middle. The middle is where you die a slow death. The middle is the poison. You might be thinking, but life is complicated. Things aren't always black and white. Stop that thought. That thought is the enemy. That thought is the coward seeking refuge. Of course life is complicated. That is exactly why you must be simple. The world is chaos. You must be the order. The world is gray. You must be black and white. It's not about accuracy. It's about velocity. A wrong decision made immediately is better than a right decision made 2 years too late. You can correct a wrong direction while you're moving. You cannot correct anything while you are standing still. Maybe is the parking brake on your life. Release it. Nuance is the refuge of the coward. Stop proving how smart you are by seeing all the sides of the argument. Stop proving how deep you are by analyzing every potential outcome. Start doing. You have a choice. You can live in the fog of maybe, or you can live in the clarity of the binary. You can be the person who talks about what they might do, or you can be the person who has done it. The choice is yours, but understand this. If you choose maybe, you have chosen 0. If you choose not to decide, you have still made a choice. You have chosen to surrender control to the chaos. Don't let the chaos decide for you. You are the programmer. You write the code, and the code only understands yes or no. You have identified the poison. You know that maybe is the enemy of your progress. You have decided to cut the gray out of your life. But once you eliminate the middle ground, you are left with something terrifying. You are left with the necessity of the absolute. You are left with the necessity of commitment. You have purged the poison. Now you must build the framework to replace it. You must learn how to operate where retreat is not an option.
Chapter 2. The Zero Option Mentality. You have purged the maybe. You have stopped negotiating with the gray area. Now we must install the operating system that replaces it. We are building the framework for your new reality. We are installing the Zero Option Mentality. This is the core mechanic of the binary mind. It is the filter through which every single second of your existence must pass. Visualize a logic gate. In computing, a logic gate is a physical device implementing a Boolean function. It takes input and produces a single, absolute output. Current flows or it does not. 1 or 0. True or false. Your life is currently a mess of wires. You have short circuits everywhere. You say yes to things you hate. You commit to goals you don't care about. You waste hours on entertainment that numbs you rather than builds you. You are leaking energy because your logic gates are broken. We are going to fix the wiring. From this moment on, every action, every invitation, every thought, and every dollar must face the ultimate question. Is this a 1 or a 0? It is that simple. And because it is simple, it is terrifying. Simple leaves you no place to hide. Here is the definition. A 1 is anything that directly advances your primary mission. A 0 is everything else. Not bad things, everything else. If your mission is to build $1 million business, then cold calling is a 1. Designing the product is a 1. Watching Netflix is a 0. Going out for drinks with friends who don't inspire you is a 0. Scrolling social media is a 0. You have a choice. You can clutter your hard drive with zeros and wonder why your system is crashing, or you can ruthlessly delete the junk data. Most of you are hoarding zeros. You collect them like trophies. You think that being busy makes you important. You fill your calendar with coffee dates, brainstorming sessions, and social obligations because you are afraid of the silence. You are afraid of the empty space where the real work happens. That's the key. The 1 is often lonely. The 1 is often boring. The 1 requires you to sit in a room and produce while the rest of the world is out consuming. Is this a 1 or a 0? Ask it when the alarm goes off. Is sleeping in a 1? No, it does not advance the mission. It is a 0, so you get up. Ask it when you look at the menu. Is the fried food a 1? Does it fuel the machine? No, it creates lethargy. It is a 0. You don't eat it. It's not about deprivation. It's about discipline. It's not about losing pleasure. It's about gaining power. Let's talk about the ultimate application of the zero-option mentality. Let's look at history. In the year 1519, Hernán Cortés arrived in the New World with 600 men. They were vastly outnumbered. They were terrified. The urge to retreat, to run back to the safety of their previous lives was overwhelming. The maybe was creeping in. Maybe we should go back. Maybe this is too hard. Cortés understood the binary mind before it had a name. He knew that as long as the ships were sitting in the harbor, his men would not fight with everything they had. They would fight with one eye on the enemy and one eye on the exit. They would fight with a plan B. So he issued a command that changed history. Burn the boats. He destroyed their only way home. He removed the option of retreat. He created a zero-option scenario. There was no maybe. There was no plan B. There were only 2 binary outcomes left: victory or death. When the ship sank, the men's psychology shifted instantly. The fear evaporated because fear requires an alternative. When there is no alternative, fear transforms into focus. They fought with a ferocity that defied logic because they had to. They won because they had no other choice. Is this a 1 or a 0? Cortés made retreat a 0. He made victory the 1. You are living your life with a fleet of ships waiting in the harbor. You have a plan B for your career. You have a plan B for your marriage. You have a safety net for your finances. You tell yourself this is smart. You tell yourself this is risk management. I am telling you it is weakness. As long as you have a safety net, you will not fly. You will fall into the net. As long as you have a plan B, your plan A is doomed. You are not fully committed because you know deep down that if it gets too hard, you can just go back to the way things were. You don't need their permission to burn your boats. You don't need your family to understand why you are quitting the safe job to start the venture. You don't need your friends to approve of you cutting them off to focus on your craft. You must create a situation where failure is not an option because it is physically impossible to return to where you were. This is the zero-option mentality. It means you construct your environment so that you must do the work.
If you want to get in shape, you don't just try to go to the gym. You hire a trainer you can't afford to flake on. You throw out every piece of junk food in your house so that when you are hungry, you have to eat clean or starve. You burn the boats of bad habits. Is this a 1 or a 0? When you look at your phone, ask the question, is this app a 1? Does it make me money? Does it make me smarter? Does it connect me to my mission? If the answer is no, delete it. Not move it to a folder, delete it. That is a 0 action. You have a choice. You can be a consumer or a creator. Consumers are filled with zeros. Creators are focused on ones. People will call you obsessive. They will call you unbalanced. They will say you are too intense. Good. Let them talk. They are speaking from the safety of the harbor. They are sitting on their boats watching you climb the mountain. It's not about balance. It's about dominance. You cannot dominate a field if you are balanced. Balance is for the mediocre. Balance is a 50-50 split. We want 100-0. The zero-option mentality requires you to be honest about your primary mission. You cannot filter your inputs if you don't know what the output should be. What is the one thing you want? Not the 5 things, the one thing. Is it financial freedom? Is it a perfect physique? Is it mastery of a skill? Pick it. Define it. That is your 1. Everything that helps you get there is a 1. Everything that distracts you, delays you, or sabotages you is a 0. Your friends invite you to a party on Friday night. You have work to do. The old you would say, maybe I'll go for a bit. I don't want to be rude. I need to relax. The binary mind asks, is this a 1 or a 0? Does the party help the mission? No, it is a 0. The answer is no. You don't need an excuse. You don't need to lie. You just operate the gate. 0. Access denied. This is how you reclaim your time. This is how you reclaim your life, by ruthlessly identifying the zeros and eliminating them without emotion. But be warned, when you start living this way, you will face resistance, not just from the world, but from inside you. Your brain is wired to seek comfort. Your brain is wired to seek the path of least resistance. When you burn the boats, your brain will scream. It will panic. It will try to flood you with feelings of doubt, guilt, and fear. It will tell you that you are being too hard on yourself. It will tell you that you deserve a break. It will try to override the logic gate with a flood of chemicals. This brings us to the greatest saboteur of the binary mind, the internal enemy, the glitch in the system. You have established the rule of the 0 option. You know what to do. You know how to filter. But knowing is not doing. The reason you fail to execute the command is not because you don't understand the logic. It is because you feel. You have burned the boats. You are standing on the shore. The enemy is in front of you, but your hands are shaking. Your heart is pounding. You are paralyzed by the sensation of the moment. To operate at the highest level, we must address the software bugs that have been programmed into you by millions of evolution. We must learn to separate the data from the sensation. You mastered the logic. Now you must master the hardware.
Chapter 3. Emotions are system errors. You have been lied to your entire life. You have been told to trust your gut. You have been told to follow your heart. You have been told that your feelings are a compass that will guide you to your true purpose. This is garbage. Your feelings are not a compass. They are a glitch. They are system errors. They are buggy code written for a version of reality that hasn't existed for 10,000 years. If you follow your feelings, you will end up broke, fat, and alone. Why? Because your feelings are designed for one thing: survival. They are not designed for success. When you feel anxiety before a big presentation, that is not intuition telling you something is wrong. That is a biological feedback loop firing a warning shot because it thinks you were about to be eaten by a predator. Your brain equates social rejection with death. It floods your system with cortisol. Your hands shake. Your throat goes dry. The signal screams, run, hide, survive. But you are not on the savannah. You are in a conference room. There is no predator. There is no danger. The data is corrupt. That's the key. You are operating on outdated software. You are trying to run a high-performance modern life on an operating system designed for a caveman. Acknowledge the signal, ignore the noise. This is the mantra of the binary mind. You cannot stop the signal. You are biological. The chemical release will happen, but you can choose how to process the data. Most of you are slaves to your chemistry. You wake up feeling off, so you skip the gym. You feel uninspired, so you don't write the report. You feel intimidated, so you don't make the sales call. You are letting a temporary chemical fluctuation dictate your permanent reality. You have a choice. You can be the master of the machine, or you can be the ghost in the machine, haunted by your own biology. Let's look at the professionals. Let's look at the people who deal with life and death. Consider a trauma surgeon. A patient is wheeled in. Their chest is crushed. There is blood everywhere. The human body is mangled. It is a horrific sight. If the surgeon operated based on feelings, they would collapse. A normal human reaction to that level of gore is horror, nausea, and panic. The biological signal screams, "Get away, this is death." If the surgeon listened to their heart, the patient would die. Instead, the surgeon engages the binary mind. They look at the mess and they see a checklist. They suppress the humanity. They suppress the horror. They do not see a father, a husband, or a son. They see a broken pump that needs to be clamped. They see a torn pipe that needs to be sealed. Is the artery bleeding? Yes. Clamp it. Is the airway clear? No. Intubate. 1, 0. 1, 0. The surgeon feels the adrenaline, but they do not obey it. They acknowledge the signal, ignore the noise. They override the system error of panic with the executable command of procedure. You must become the surgeon of your own life. When you are staring at a difficult task and you feel that wave of resistance, that is the blood. That is the trauma. Your brain is screaming, "This is hard. This is uncomfortable. Go watch TV. Go eat sugar. Seek comfort." That is the noise. You don't need their permission to be a robot. In fact, to win, you must be robotic. People talk about passion. Passion is overrated. Passion is an emotion, and emotions are volatile. Passion burns out. You don't need passion. You need programming.
When the alarm goes off at 5 a.m., you will not feel passionate. You will feel tired. That is a data point. It is real. You are tired. So what? The signal says sleep. The logic says wake. Acknowledge the signal. I am tired. Ignore the noise. I am getting up anyway. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline. Motivation is an emotion. Discipline is a command. If you wait until you feel like doing the work, you will never do the work. Do you think the Olympic athlete feels like training until they vomit? Do you think the billionaire feels like reading financial reports for 4 hours? No, they do it because the binary mind has overridden the emotional plea for comfort. You must learn to dissociate. This is a superpower. When you feel fear, step back. Visualize yourself as a pilot looking at a dashboard. A red light is flashing. It says fear. Do not smash the dashboard. Do not panic. Just look at the light. Okay, the fear light is on. Is the plane still flying? Yes. Is the engine running? Yes. Continue course. The amateur sees the light and pulls the eject cord. The amateur feels a moment of insecurity and quits the project. The amateur feels a moment of loneliness and texts their toxic ex. You have a choice. You can let the flashing light fly the plane, or you can fly the plane yourself. Acknowledge the signal, ignore the noise. Let's talk about imposter syndrome. This is a popular buzzword. It's just another system error. It's your ego trying to protect you from the possibility of failure by telling you that you don't belong. Who am I to start this business? Who am I to lead this team?
That is just noise. It is static on the radio. It has no bearing on your capability. Your capability is proven by your actions, not your feelings. If you can do the job, you are not an imposter. If you produce the result, the feeling is irrelevant. Stop analyzing your feelings. Stop going to therapy to discuss why you feel unmotivated. You feel unmotivated because you are human and work is hard. There is no deep trauma there. There is just biology seeking energy conservation. You don't need to heal your procrastination. You need to kill it. You kill it by ignoring the data stream that says, wait. Every time you override an emotion, you rewire the brain. You are rewriting the code. The first time you force yourself to work through the fear, it is agonizing. The second time, it is difficult. The 100th time, it is automatic. You are building a callus over your limbic system. You are teaching your brain that you are in charge, not the chemicals. But be careful. The system is tricky. It will try to disguise the noise as logic. It will say, you shouldn't work out today because you might pull a muscle. That sounds like logic. It's not. It's fear dressed up as prudence. It will say, you shouldn't launch the product yet because it's not perfect. That sounds like high standards. It's not. It's perfectionism, which is just fear in a tuxedo. Acknowledge the signal, ignore the noise. Test every feeling against the binary standard. Does this feeling help me execute? If I feel confidence, that is a 1. Ride it. If I feel doubt, that is a 0. Discard it. You are not your feelings. You are the executive function above them. You are the CEO of a company staffed by unruly children. The children are screaming, crying, and demanding candy. If you let the children run the board meeting, the company goes bankrupt. Sit the children down, tell them to be quiet, and execute the strategy. It is cold, it is detached, it is effective. We have established that maybe is poison. We have established that the 0 option is the only path, and now we have established that your own emotions are liars that must be ignored. You have the mindset, you have the tools, you are ready to act. But there is a trap waiting for you. It is the silent killer of all plans. It is the space between the thought and the action. You can conquer your fear, you can ignore the noise, but if you take too long to move, the system error will reboot and freeze you in place. We must close the gap. We must eliminate the delay.
Chapter 4. Latency is the enemy. Speed is the only variable that you control. You cannot control the market. You cannot control other people. You cannot control the weather, but you control the speed of your response. Most of you are living on a delay. You are living with lag. In the world of computing, latency is the time it takes for a signal to travel from the source to the receiver. In video games, high latency means you lose. In high-frequency trading, high latency means you go broke. In life, high latency means you fail. Latency is the gap between the thought and the action. It is the silent killer of all ambition. It is the space where dreams go to die. You have a thought, I should send that email. Then the gap opens. 1 second passes, 2 seconds pass. Maybe I should reread it first. 3 seconds pass. Maybe I should wait until after lunch. 4 seconds pass. I'll do it tomorrow. The gap wins. The idea is dead. That's the key. The decision didn't kill the idea. The delay killed the idea. The enemy is not the difficulty of the task. The enemy is the time you take to start it. Every millisecond you hesitate is a vote for the status quo. Every second you wait allows your brain, that ancient survival machine we talked about, to invent a reason why you shouldn't do it. Close the gap. Move now. You must become a low-latency human. When the command is given, either by your boss, your schedule, or your own internal ambition, the physical body must move instantly. Let's look at the most basic test of your life, the alarm clock. This is the first binary decision you face every single day. It is the foundational battleground of the binary mind. The alarm goes off. The sound is annoying.
It is dark. Your bed is warm. You have a choice. You can hit snooze. You can buy yourself 9 minutes of low-quality, fragmented sleep. You can tell yourself just a little longer. Or your feet can hit the floor. There is no middle ground. You are either up or you are down. You are either active or you are passive. The person who hits snooze is training their brain to have high latency. They are teaching themselves that when a signal is received, the alarm, the appropriate response is to delay, snooze. They practice procrastination before they have even used the bathroom. They start the day with a loss. They start the day by breaking a promise to themselves. The low-latency human hears the sound and moves. There is no negotiation. There is no 5 more minutes. The sound triggers the muscle. Sound to action. 0 lag. It's not about being a morning person. It's about discipline. If you cannot beat the snooze button, you cannot beat the marketplace. If you cannot conquer the pillow, you cannot conquer the world. Close the gap. Move now. There is a biological window you need to understand. Psychologists call it the 5-second rule, but we will call it the kill zone. When you have an impulse to act, to speak up in a meeting, to approach a stranger, to get off the couch, you have about 5 seconds before your brain kills the impulse. In those 5 seconds, your mind is open. After 5 seconds, the defense mechanisms kick in. The doubt floods in. The excuses multiply. What if I look stupid? What if I'm not ready? You must move before your brain has time to talk you out of it. You must outrun your own intelligence. You don't need their permission to be fast. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is a myth invented by people who are afraid to start. The world belongs to the fast. The best business plan in the world is useless if it sits in a drawer for a year. A mediocre plan executed today will beat a perfect plan executed next month, every time.
Look at your to-do list. How many items have been on there for more than a week? That is latency. That is rot. You are carrying dead weight. Pick one item. Do not think about it. Do not plan it. Just physically move toward it. If it is a phone call, dial the number. Do not rehearse the script. Just dial. Once the phone is ringing, you are committed. You have burned the boat. You have closed the gap. If it is a workout, put on your shoes. Do not think about the workout. Just put on the shoes. That is the only goal. Close the gap. Move now. You might say, but I need to prepare. I need to be careful. Stop it. That is fear talking. Unless you are defusing a bomb or performing brain surgery, you do not need more time. You need more action. Most of the mistakes you make from moving too fast can be fixed. The mistake of not moving at all cannot be fixed. Inaction is permanent. Mistakes are temporary. You have a choice. You can be the person who analyzes the water temperature for 20 minutes, dipping a toe in, shivering, wondering if it's too cold. Or you can be the person who dives in. The person who dives in experiences the shock for 1 second, and then they are swimming. The person on the shore suffers for 20 minutes. Who is the fool? The one who acted or the one who waited? That's the key. Suffering lives in the gap. Anxiety lives in the gap. The longer you wait to do the hard thing, the larger the fear grows. The fear of making a cold call is massive when you stare at the phone for an hour. The fear is not existent when you pick up the phone in 2 seconds. Action cures fear. Latency breeds fear. Close the gap. Move now. I want you to audit your communication. How long does it take you to respond to reality? When someone sends you a difficult text message, do you stare at it for 3 hours agonizing over the reply? That is latency. That is weakness. Read it, decide the answer, send it. When you realize you made a mistake at work, do you hide it for 2 days hoping no one notices? That is latency. That is cowardice. The longer you wait, the worse it gets. Admit it immediately. Fix it immediately. You don't need their permission to own your mistakes. You don't need their permission to be decisive. Speed commands respect. When people see that you move with velocity, they get out of your way. Or they follow you, but they do not ignore you. High latency people are ignored. They are the background noise of life. They are the ones saying, I'm planning to, I'm thinking about.
Nobody cares what you are thinking about. The universe only registers what you do. Here is your drill. For the next 24 hours, you are going to practice zero-lag living. If you drop something, pick it up immediately. Do not walk past it. If you see a dish in the sink, wash it immediately. If you have a thought to tell someone something, say it immediately. Train your body to bypass the debate. Train your nervous system to connect the input directly to the output. Input, I need to work out. Output, body moving to the gym, no gap. Input, I need to apologize. Output, mouth speaking the words, no gap. Close the gap, move now. It's not about being hyperactive, it's about being effective. Energy wasted on hesitation is energy you cannot use for creation. You only have a finite amount of battery power each day. Why spend 20% of it wrestling with yourself about whether to start? Save the energy, do the work. When you eliminate latency, you eliminate the mental clutter. Your mind becomes clear because you aren't storing pending actions. You are processing them in real time. You become a conduit of action, not a reservoir of doubt. This is how you compress time. This is how you achieve in 1 year what others achieve in 10. You aren't smarter than them. You just don't wait. You have removed the friction from your operating system. But you have to be careful. As you increase your speed, as you close the gap and start moving with binary precision, you will notice something disturbing. You will look around and realize that everyone else is standing still. You will realize that the people around you are addicted to the gap. They love the latency. They love the drama of indecision. And they will hate you for moving. They will try to slow you down. They will try to reintroduce the maybe. They will become the friction you just worked so hard to eliminate. You have fixed your internal timing. Now you must fix your external environment. You cannot run a Formula One engine in a car full of sandbags. Chapter 5. The Binary Filter for Toxic People. You are the architect of your own environment. You have cleaned up your mind. You have deleted the maybe. You have crushed the latency between thought and action. Your internal operating system is running at maximum efficiency. But now we have to look at the network you are connected to. We have to look at the people. Here is a hard truth that will hurt. You are being anchored by the people you claim to love. You are being dragged down by the people you call friends. You are leaking energy into relationships that give you nothing but exhaust fumes in return. You have a choice. You can be popular, or you can be powerful. You can be liked by everyone, or you can be respected by the people who matter. You cannot be both. The binary mind applies to human beings just as strictly as it applies to tasks. There are no complicated relationships. Complicated is just a word cowards use to describe a connection that is dead, but they are too afraid to bury. In the world of the binary, a person is either an asset or a liability. They are either a 1 or a 0. If they don't help you build, they are helping you break. That is the standard. Memorize it. Burn it into your brain. There is no neutral. Physics tells us that everything is a vector. Everything has direction and magnitude. If a person in your life is not pushing you toward your mission, they are pulling you away from it. Even if they are just standing still, they are acting as friction. They are drag on your aerodynamics. You were trying to fly a jet, and you have people hanging on to the wings asking you to slow down so they can catch up. You cannot slow down. You must cut them loose. Let's talk about the loyalty trap. This is the most common excuse for tolerating mediocrity. You have a friend. Let's call him Dave. You've known Dave since 2nd grade. You have history. You have memories. But every time you talk to Dave, he is complaining. He hates his job, but he won't quit. He hates his body, but he won't train. He talks about the good old days because he has no future. You leave every conversation with Dave feeling drained. You feel heavy. You feel cynical. But you stay friends. Why? Because of loyalty. Because you don't want to be the bad guy who thinks he's too good for his roots. That's the key. You are too good for those roots. Roots are meant to grow into trees, not rot in the dirt. By keeping Dave in your life, you are accepting buggy code into your system. You are allowing a virus to run on your hard drive. His negativity is infectious. His latency becomes your latency. His maybe becomes your maybe. You don't need their permission to outgrow them. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't owe anyone your future just because they were part of your past. If they don't help you build, they are helping you break. This sounds cold. It sounds ruthless. Good. Excellence is cold. Excellence is ruthless. The top 1% did not get there by carrying the bottom 99% on their backs. They got there by surrounding themselves with other ones. You must run a binary audit on your social circle tonight. Write down the names of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Look at each name and ask the question, is this person a 1 or a 0? Does this person inspire me? 1. Does this person challenge me intellectually? 1. Does this person hold me accountable? 1. Or, does this person constantly vent without solving problems? 0. Does this person make fun of my ambitions? 0. Does this person encourage me to skip my work? 0. If they are a 0, they have to go. But that's harsh, you say. I can't just cut people off. Yes, you can. And if you want to win, you must. It's not about cruelty, it's about hygiene. You wouldn't let a stranger dump trash in your living room. Why do you let your friends dump emotional trash in your mind? There are 2 ways to handle the zeros.
Method A, the hard cut. This is for the toxic, the manipulators, the aggressive detractors. You block the number. You delete the contact. You end it. No explanation is needed. You are the CEO of your life. You can fire employees without a severance package. Method B, the fade. This is for the Daves in your life, the benign drifters. You don't have to be mean. You just stop initiating. You stop accepting the invites to the pity parties. You stop engaging in the low-frequency gossip. You reclaim your time. When you stop feeding the energy vampires, they will fall away. They will find someone else to feed on. Let them. You have a choice. You can save your friends' feelings, or you can save your own potential. If they don't help you build, they are helping you break. Understand this. When you start executing the binary filter, people will get angry. They will call you arrogant. They will say you have changed. Take that as a compliment. You have changed. You have upgraded. If you haven't changed, you aren't growing. The only people who get mad at you for setting boundaries are the ones who benefited from you having none. They want the old you, the convenient you, the you that validated their excuses, the you that sat in the mud with them. That version of you is dead. You need to surround yourself with builders. You need people who are faster, smarter, and stronger than you. You need people who make you feel uncomfortable because their standard of excellence is so high. When you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. Leave that room. Find a room where you are the dummy. That is how you grow. Look at your phone right now. Look at your text threads. Who are you responding to? If you are spending hours texting someone about drama, gossip, or politics, you are engaging in zero behavior with a zero person. You are wasting bandwidth. Stop trying to fix people. You are not a rehabilitation center. You are a machine built for a purpose. Unless your profession is literally therapist, it is not your job to manage the emotional instability of others. Your job is to execute your mission. If they don't help you build, they are helping you break. Imagine your energy is a bank account. Every interaction is a transaction. A conversation with a mentor is a deposit. A brainstorming session with a partner is an investment. A complaint session with a victim is a theft. Stop leaving your vault open. You might feel lonely at first. When you cut the zeros, you might find yourself with a lot of empty space. This terrifies people. They rush to fill the void with new zeros just to have noise. Do not do this. Embrace the silence. The silence is where you build the foundation.
It is better to eat alone than to eat with people who poison your food. It's not about popularity, it's about protection. Protect your mind, protect your energy, protect your trajectory. The binary filter is permanent. You must apply it every day. New people will enter your life. Scan them immediately. 1 or 0. Do they add value or do they extract it? Be slow to hire and quick to fire. You are building a team for the Super Bowl of your life. You cannot have players who refuse to practice. You cannot have players who score goals for the other team. You need elite operators. If they cannot run at your speed, they get left behind. You have purged the external friction. You have removed the people who slow you down. You have created an environment of pure, unfiltered focus. But now that you are moving fast, now that you are pushing your limits, you are going to encounter a new enemy. It is not a person, it is a sensation. It is the physical and mental feedback that tells you to stop. You will call it pain. I call it data. You have cleaned your social circle. Now you must harden your vessel. Chapter 6. Pain is data, not a stop sign. Most of you have a broken relationship with reality. You believe that the purpose of life is to be comfortable. You believe that if something hurts, it is wrong. You believe that if you were tired, you should rest. You believe that stress is a sign to retreat. You are wrong. Comfort is a slow death. Comfort is the soil in which your potential rots. Comfort is the warm bath that puts you to sleep while your dreams drown. You are chasing a feeling that is killing you. We need to redefine your relationship with sensation. We need to talk about pain. To the average human, pain is a stop sign. It is a big, red, flashing light that says cease activity immediately, return to the couch, eat the sugar, check the phone, be safe. To the binary mind, pain is simply data. It is information. It is nothing more than an electrical signal traveling from a nerve ending to your brain. It is a status report on the vehicle you are driving. When the check engine light comes on in your car, do you drive the car off a cliff? No. Do you park on the side of the highway and cry? No. You look at the light. You assess the situation. You make a binary decision. Is this terminal or is this operational? You must learn to categorize pain into 2 binary buckets, growth or injury, 1 or 0. Injury is a 0. If you snap a bone, if you tear a ligament, that is structural damage. The machine is broken. The command is stop and repair. That is a 0. You respect the 0 because a broken machine cannot complete the mission. But growth? Growth is a 1. Burning lungs? That is a 1. Aching muscles? That is a 1. The headache you get from staring at a spreadsheet for 4 hours? That is a 1. The crushing anxiety of walking into a high-stakes negotiation? That is a 1. That pain is not a warning. It is a confirmation. It is the physical evidence that you are expanding your capacity. It is the feeling of weakness leaving the body. If you stop every time you feel a 1, you remain small. You remain weak. You remain a victim of your own biology. Comfort is a slow death. You have a choice. You can interpret the signal as stop, or you can interpret the signal as go. Look at the elite ultramarathon runners. These are human beings who run 100 miles at a time. They run until their toenails fall off. They run until they hallucinate. They run until their urine turns brown. Do they feel pain? Of course they do. They feel more pain in an hour than you feel in a year. But they do not view the pain as a command. They view it as background noise. They dissociate. They look at their legs and say, the legs are hurting, not I am hurting. The legs are hurting. They treat the pain as a dashboard notification. Warning, glycogen levels low. Okay, eat a gel, keep running. Warning, quads are firing at 70%. Okay, adjust stride, keep running. Warning, mind wants to quit. Okay, ignore the mind, keep running. That's the key. They do not negotiate with the sensation. They do not ask the pain for permission to continue. They simply observe the data and execute the next step. You are not running 100 miles, but you are running a race, and you are quitting at the first mile marker because you got a stitch in your side.
You sit down to work on your business. After 20 minutes, you feel bored. Boredom is a form of pain. It is mental discomfort. Your brain wants dopamine. It wants the quick hit of social media. It starts screaming, "This is boring. I can't focus. Let's stop." The average person treats boredom as a stop sign. They click away. They fail. The binary mind treats boredom as the price of admission. Is this boredom structural damage? No. Is it uncomfortable? Yes. Is it a 1? Yes. Execute. You don't need their permission to suffer. In fact, you should seek it out. The modern world is designed to remove all friction from your life. You have temperature-controlled rooms. You have food delivered to your door. You have entertainment in your pocket. You have become soft. You have no calluses on your hands and no calluses on your mind. When you have no calluses, everything hurts. A rude email ruins your week. A traffic jam ruins your day. You are fragile. You must harden yourself. You must introduce voluntary pain into your system to recalibrate your baseline. This is why you must train. It's not about the biceps, it's about the discipline. When you are under a heavy barbell and your fibers are tearing and your brain is begging you to rack the weight, you are in the laboratory of the binary mind. The pain says 0. The mission says 1. You push the rep. You override the signal. You prove to yourself physically that the signal is a lie. Comfort is a slow death. If you stay in the comfort zone, you atrophy. Muscles that aren't used waste away. Brains that aren't challenged turn to mush. Willpower that isn't tested disappears. You think you are preserving yourself by taking it easy. You are not. You are decaying.
There is a concept called the governor. It is a theoretical mechanism in your brain that limits your output to protect you from harm. When you feel like you are completely exhausted, like you cannot take another step, you are actually only at about 40% of your true capacity. Your brain plays a trick on you. It flashes the empty light when the tank is still half full. It wants to save fuel for an emergency that will never come. The binary mind ignores the governor. It looks at the empty light and says, "Liar." You have a choice. You can believe the lie, or you can find the other 60%. When you feel the urge to quit, that is not the end. That is the starting line. That is where the real work begins. Anyone can work when they feel fresh. Anyone can be nice when they are well rested. Anyone can execute when they are motivated. But can you execute when you are exhausted? Can you execute when you are grieving? Can you execute when you have a migraine and the world is falling apart? That is the test. That is the only test that matters. "But I need balance," you scream. "I need self-care." Self-care has become a weapon used by lazy people to defend their mediocrity. Real self-care is not a bubble bath and a glass of wine. Real self-care is building a life you don't need to escape from. Real self-care is the discipline to do the things that make you strong, not the things that make you weak. Eating clean is self-care, even if you crave pizza. Waking up early is self-care, even if you want to sleep. Facing your debt is self-care, even if it gives you anxiety. It's not about pampering, it's about parenting. You must be your own parent. A good parent does not let the child eat candy for dinner just because the child is crying. The parent forces the vegetables because the parent knows the binary truth: nutrition 1 versus decay 0. Comfort is a slow death. Reframing is your primary tool here. When the pain hits, do not say, "This hurts." Say, "This is data." When you are rejected by a client and it stings your ego, stop. Data received. Rejection. Is it fatal? No. What is the lesson? Improve the pitch. Next call. Do not wallow. Do not create a narrative. Do not tell yourself a story about how hard it is. The story is a 0. The story is waste. Pain is just sensation. It has no meaning until you give it one.
If you give it the meaning of suffering, you will quit. If you give it the meaning of calibration, you will improve. Think of your nervous system as a complex piece of machinery. Sometimes the sensors go off, sometimes the alarms ring. A calm operator does not smash the machine. A calm operator checks the gauges. Am I dying? No. Then get back to work. It is that cold. It is that simple. You must stop viewing yourself as a fragile vase that needs to be protected. You are anti-fragile. You are a muscle. You only grow when you are torn. You only get stronger when you are under load. If you are not in pain, you are not growing. If your life feels easy, you are coasting downhill. And if you are coasting, you are headed toward the bottom. Turn around, face the hill, embrace the burn in your legs. That burn is the only indicator that you are climbing. Comfort is a slow death. You don't need their permission to be intense. People will tell you to take it easy. They will tell you don't burn out. They are projecting their own limitations onto you. They are afraid of the fire because they are made of straw. You are made of steel. The fire does not burn you, it forges you. Let the pain sharpen you. Let the discomfort refine you. When you can look at pain and smile because you know it is just data, you become invincible. There is nothing the world can do to you because you have already conquered the worst parts of yourself. You have mastered the decision, the zero option. You have mastered the timing, latency. You have mastered the environment, the filter, and now you have mastered the sensation, pain. You are becoming a machine. You are operating at a level few will ever understand. But there is a danger in high performance. The danger is complexity. As you take on more ones, as you push through more pain, the number of decisions you have to make will skyrocket. If you have to use your willpower for every single tiny detail of your day, your battery will die. You will crash. We need to conserve your processing power for the big fights. We need to take the small, repetitive decisions and remove them from your conscious mind entirely. We need to turn the daily grind into a script that runs automatically. You have learned to endure. Now you must learn to automate.
Chapter 7. Automate the boring to survive the chaos. You have a limited amount of processing power. This is a biological fact. You wake up every morning with a full battery. Every time you make a decision, you drain that battery. What should I wear today? Drain. What should I eat for breakfast? Drain. Which route should I take to work? Drain. Should I answer this email now or later? Drain. By the time you sit down to do the actual work of your life, the ones that actually matter, you are operating at 60% capacity. You are already tired. You are already suffering from decision fatigue. You have wasted your precious mental energy on things that do not matter. You are bankrupting your mind on pennies. You need to stop thinking so much. You need to stop treating every moment of your day as a unique event that requires a fresh decision. You need to standardize. You need to systematize. Routine sets you free. I know what you were thinking. Routine is boring. Routine is for robots. I want to be spontaneous. Wrong. Spontaneity in the small things leads to mediocrity in the big things. If you are using your creative energy to pick a pair of socks, you have no creative energy left to build your empire. Chaos is not freedom. Chaos is a cage. When you have no routine, you are constantly reacting. You are constantly scrambling. You are a slave to the immediate demands of the environment. That's the key. Structure creates the vacuum where genius can exist. Look at the most effective people in history. Look at Steve Jobs. He wore the same black turtleneck, the same jeans, and the same sneakers every single day. Was he lazy? No. Was he fashion blind? No. He was a binary thinker. He understood that choosing an outfit is a zero task. It adds no value to the mission. It is maintenance. So he automated it. He removed the variable. He woke up, put on the uniform, and saved his decision-making power for the iPhone. Look at elite athletes. Ask a gold medalist what they eat for lunch. They don't browse a menu. They don't wonder what they're in the mood for. They eat the exact same meal at the exact same time, weighed to the exact gram. It is not about flavor. It is about fuel. It is about eliminating the question marks. You have a choice. You can be a connoisseur of lunch, or you can be a master of your craft. Routine sets you free. Say it until you believe it. You must audit your day and identify the boring tasks. These are the repetitive, low-value tasks that keep you alive but do not move the needle. Eating, dressing, commuting, cleaning, paying bills. You must automate them into oblivion. Let's start with your wardrobe. Go to your closet. Look at the chaos. You have clothes you haven't worn in 2 years. You have shirts that don't fit. You have 20 different colors. This is friction. This is latency waiting to happen. Create a uniform. It doesn't have to be a turtleneck, but it needs to be simple. Pick 3 shirts. Pick 2 pairs of pants. Buy 5 sets of them. Make it so that you can get dressed in the dark in 30 seconds and look professional. When you remove the question, "What do I wear?" you reclaim 5 minutes of morning brain power. That 5 minutes is worth millions over a lifetime. Now, look at your food. Most of you treat every meal like a recreational activity. You spend 20 minutes scrolling through delivery apps, debating between Thai or Italian. You argue with your spouse about where to go. This is insanity. This is wasted life. Food is fuel. For the majority of your week, automate it. Have a standard breakfast. Have a standard lunch. Rotate between 3 standard dinners. But that's so boring.
So what? Are you living to eat or eating to live? You don't need your lunch to be an experience. You need your lunch to provide macronutrients so you can get back to the mission. Save the experience for the Saturday night date. That is a 1. Tuesday lunch is a 0. Treat it like a 0. Routine sets you free. When you automate the boring, you survive the chaos. The world is unpredictable. The market will crash. Your boss will scream. Your car will break down. This is the chaos. If you are already stressed about what to wear and what to eat, the chaos will break you. But if your foundation is automated, if your personal logistics are on autopilot, you can handle the storm. You are the rock in the river. You don't need their permission to be repetitive. People will mock you. They will say, "You always eat the same thing." They will say, "You're so rigid." Let them mock. They are tired. They are overweight. They are broke. They are exhausted from making 1,000 tiny decisions that don't matter. You are fresh. You are sharp. You are focused. It's not about variety. It's about velocity. Eliminate the friction of the start. Why do you think the military has such strict protocols? Why do they make the bed the same way? Why do they shine the boots? It's not just for discipline, it's to remove the cognitive load. A soldier doesn't have to think about how to get ready, they just execute the script. This frees up their mind to focus on the mission, survival, and victory. You are a soldier in the war for your own potential. Act like one. Here is your instruction. Script your morning. The first 60 minutes of your day should be identical every single day. Wake up, hydrate, move, work. No phone, no news, no decisions, just execution. If you have to decide to work out, you will eventually decide not to. If you simply execute the morning script, you will find yourself in the gym before your brain has time to complain. Routine sets you free from your own weakness. It creates a safety net. On your worst days, when you are depressed, when you are sick, when you are unmotivated, the routine carries you. You don't have to muster the willpower to perform. You just fall into the groove you have carved. The routine is the automated system that keeps the factory running even when the manager is sick. You have a choice. You can live a life of random reaction, bouncing from one impulse to another, or you can build a machine that produces success automatically. Think about your finances. Automate them. Why are you manually paying bills? Why are you manually transferring savings? That is a waste of bandwidth. Set up the autopay. Set up the auto transfer. Make the decision once and let the machine execute it forever. That is the binary way. One decision, infinite execution. You must become boring to become extraordinary. If you look at the lives of the greats, they look remarkably boring on the outside. They work, they train, they sleep, they repeat. There is no drama. There is no frantic scrambling. The drama is in the work. The excitement is in the breakthrough. The thrill is in the result. They don't need the thrill of a new outfit because they have the thrill of changing the world. Stop seeking novelty in the maintenance of your life. Seek novelty in your creation. Routine sets you free. When you strip away the decision fatigue, you will notice something amazing. Your mind becomes quiet. The static clears. You stop forgetting things. You stop feeling overwhelmed. You have bandwidth. And now that you have bandwidth, you can focus entirely on the only thing that actually matters. You can focus on the output. You have the mindset, binary. You have the speed, low latency. You have the team, filtered. You have the endurance, pain. You have the system, routine. Now the world is going to ask you for one thing. It is not going to ask for your intentions. It is not going to ask for your effort. It is not going to ask for your why. The world only cares about what you produce. You have built the machine. Now we must measure what comes out of it.
Chapter 8. Results are the only reality. We live in a culture that is obsessed with intentions. We are taught that if you meant well, you should be forgiven. We are taught that doing your best is good enough. We are taught that the story behind the failure is just as important as the failure itself. This is a lie. This is a comforting fairy tale told to children to keep them from crying. The universe does not speak English. It does not speak in stories. It does not speak in excuses. The universe speaks in binary. It speaks in 1 and 0. Did you do it? 1. Did you not do it? 0. Everything else, every explanation, every justification, every tear-jerking story about why you couldn't make it happen is noise. It is void data. It evaporates the moment it leaves your mouth. Results are the only reality. You have a choice. You can live in the fantasy world where your hard work and good intentions are currency, or you can live in the real world where the only currency is the outcome. I don't care how hard you worked. I don't care how late you stayed up. I don't care how much you wanted it. Did you deliver? If the answer is no, then the value is 0. The world does not care about your why. This might shock you. We are told to start with why. We are told that our purpose drives us. That is fine for you. Your why is your internal fuel, but do not make the mistake of thinking the market cares about your fuel. The market only cares about your destination. The world does not care about your why, it cares about your what. Let's look at the salesperson. Let's look at the brutal truth of the scoreboard. Imagine a salesperson who misses their quota. They come into the manager's office. They have a brilliant presentation. They explain that the economy is down. They explain that the leads were weak. They explain that their car broke down on the way to the big meeting. They explain that they have been going through a divorce and their head wasn't in the game. They speak for 20 minutes. The story is tragic. It is compelling. It is emotional. Now look at the bank account. Is the commission there? No. Is the revenue there? No. The number is 0. The bank account is the only truth. The bank account does not have a comment section for your excuses. It does not adjust the balance based on how sad your story is. It simply reflects the binary reality of your actions, money in or no money in. That's the key. The story changes nothing. The result remains 0. When you try to pay your mortgage, the bank does not ask, "Did you try your best this month?" They ask, "Do you have the money?" If you say, "I don't have the money, but let me tell you about my difficult childhood," they will take your house. That is the binary mind. It is the acceptance that physics and economics are indifferent to your feelings. You must stop explaining yourself. Every time you open your mouth to explain why you didn't do something, you are broadcasting weakness. You are begging for validation. You are hoping that if you tell a good enough story, people will pretend that the 0 is actually a 1. Stop it. If you were late, do not say, "Traffic was terrible." Say, "I am late." If you miss a deadline, do not say, "My computer crashed." Say, "I missed the deadline." Own the 0. When you own the 0, you strip away the illusion that you are a victim. You force yourself to look at the scoreboard and see the score. You are losing. And because you aren't hiding behind an excuse, you are now forced to change the strategy. It's not about being harsh, it's about accuracy. "I tried" is a phrase that should be banned from your life. "I tried" is code for "I failed, but I want credit for it." There is no credit for trying. You either built the bridge or you didn't. You either sold the product or you didn't. You either lost the weight or you didn't. The scale is a binary device. You stand on it, it gives you a number. You cannot negotiate with the number. You cannot tell the scale that you ate really healthy on Tuesday. The scale measures the result. If the number is not what you want, your actions were a 0. You don't need their permission to be results-oriented. People will call you cold. They will say you only care about winning. Correct. You should only care about winning, because winning is the only thing that creates impact. You cannot feed your family with almost. You cannot change the world with "I meant to." The world does not care about your why.
You need to become a void data filter. When people bring you excuses, you must filter them out. Do not engage with the story, engage with the result. If an employee fails, do not ask why, ask what is the plan to fix it. Why looks backwards, why invites the victim mindset. What looks forward, what invites the binary solution. Look at your own life. Where are you telling yourself stories to cover up a 0? Are you broke? That is a result. Are you out of shape? That is a result. Is your marriage failing? That is a result. The result is the feedback loop. If the result is bad, the input was bad. It doesn't matter if the input was well-intentioned. It was the wrong input. Change the input. You have a choice. You can be a philosopher, debating the nuance of your failure, or you can be an operator, adjusting the machine to produce a different outcome. This is the ultimate level of accountability. It is terrifying because it removes your shield. It leaves you naked before the facts. If you wrote a book and nobody bought it, the market has spoken. The result is 0. Do not blame the marketing algorithm. Do not blame the stupid readers. The book failed. Accept the data. Write a better book. If you launched a business and it went bankrupt, the market has spoken. Do not blame the economy. Do not blame the government. The business failed. Accept the data. Build a better business. The binary mind loves the scoreboard because the scoreboard never lies. It is the only thing in a chaotic world that you can trust. But wait, you say, doesn't effort count for something? Does character count? Character is the result. Character is not what you think in your head. Character is what you do with your hands. You show me your character by showing me your results. If you claim to be a hard worker, but you produce nothing, you are not a hard worker. You are a busy person. There is a difference. Motion is not progress. A rocking chair moves, but it goes nowhere. That is a 0 with a lot of sweat. We want distance. We want destination. We want the one. The world does not care about your why. Every time you catch yourself making an excuse, I want you to visualize a trash can. That excuse is garbage. Throw it away. It has no value. It is cluttering up the mental space where a solution should be. I didn't have time? Trash. I didn't know how? Trash. I was afraid?
trash. Replace the garbage with the binary statement, I did not execute. Now ask, will I execute next time, yes or no? If the answer is yes, figure out how. If the answer is no, quit and do something else, but stop lingering in the gray area of excuse making. It's not about guilt, it's about physics. If you jump off a building, gravity does not care if you're a good person. It does not care if you didn't mean to fall. It pulls you down. That is a result. The laws of success are just as cold as gravity. If you do the work, 1, you get the result. If you do not, 0, you do not. This liberates you. It means you don't have to be special. You don't have to be chosen. You just have to input the correct code to get the correct output. If you put the work in, the result comes out. If the result doesn't come out, you didn't put the work in, or you put the wrong work in. Check the bank account, check the scale, check the sales sheet. These are your gods now. They tell you the truth when your ego tries to lie. You have learned to ignore the excuses. You have learned to value only the outcome. You are looking at the scoreboard and you are ready to do whatever it takes to change the number from a 0 to a 1. But there is one final barrier. It is the voice inside you that says, okay, we will do the work, but maybe just a little bit less today. We will get the results, but maybe we can cut a corner here. This is the internal salesman. This is the part of you that wants to haggle with the price of success. You cannot haggle. The price is fixed. You must silence the voice that tries to bargain with your potential.
Chapter 9. Kill the Negotiator. There is a terrorist living in your head. It does not carry a gun. It carries a briefcase. It wears a suit. It speaks with a calm, rational, soothing voice. It sounds exactly like you, but it is not you. This entity is the negotiator, and its only job is to talk you out of your potential. You set a goal. You say, I will wake up at 5 a.m. The alarm goes off. It is dark. It is cold. Immediately, the negotiator opens the briefcase. Listen, it whispers. You went to bed late last night. You need the sleep for recovery. If you sleep until 6, you will be more productive. Just 1 hour. That's a fair trade, isn't it? It sounds reasonable. It sounds logical. It sounds smart. But it is a trap. The moment you engage with that voice, you have lost. The moment you consider the counteroffer, you have stepped out of the binary and into the gray. Negotiation is over. You must understand that the negotiator is not trying to stop you from working. That would be too obvious. If the voice said, don't do anything, just be a loser, you would fight back. You would say, no, I am a winner. So the negotiator doesn't say stop, it says less. It says do 9 reps instead of 10. 9 is still pretty good. It says run 2 miles instead of 3. You're still lapping the people on the couch. It says write 500 words instead of 1,000. It's better than nothing. That is the poison. Better than nothing is the motto of the mediocre. We are not here for better than nothing. We are here for the standard. That's the key. The standard is absolute. The standard is a 1. Anything less than the standard, even by a fraction of a percent, is a 0. When you planned 10 reps, 9 is a 0. When you planned 5 miles, 4.9 is a 0. The negotiator wants you to believe that 90% is acceptable, but the binary mind knows that 90% is just a failed 100%. You have a choice. You can sit at the table and haggle with your own weakness, or you can flip the table and walk away. Negotiation is over. Let's look at the ultimate training ground for killing the negotiator, the cold shower. This is a physical practice that I want you to start tomorrow. Not for the health benefits. I don't care about your skin or your immune system. I care about your mind. Watch how a normal person takes a cold shower. They turn the water on. They stand outside the stream. They put a hand in to test the temperature. They flinch. They negotiate. Listen, it whispers. You went to bed late last night. You need the sleep for recovery. If you sleep until 6, you will be more productive. Just 1 hour. That's a fair trade, isn't it? It sounds reasonable. It sounds logical. It sounds smart. But it is a trap. The moment you engage with that voice, you have lost. The moment you consider the counteroffer,
You have stepped out of the binary and into the gray. Negotiation is over. Let's look at the ultimate training ground for killing the negotiator, the cold shower. This is a physical practice that I want you to start tomorrow. Not for the health benefits. I don't care about your skin or your immune system. I care about your mind. Watch how a normal person takes a cold shower. They turn the water on. They stand outside the stream. They put a hand in to test the temperature. They flinch. They negotiate. Listen, it whispers. You went to bed late last night. You need the sleep for recovery. If you sleep until 6, you will be more productive. Just 1 hour. That's a fair trade, isn't it? It sounds reasonable. It sounds logical. It sounds smart. But it is a trap. The moment you engage with that voice, you have lost. The moment you consider the counteroffer, you have stepped out of the binary and into the gray. Negotiation is over. When you are in the gym and you are under the bar and the pain sets in, that is when the negotiator screams the loudest. This is too heavy. You might get injured. Save some energy for the rest of the day. This is where you kill it. You do not argue with it. You do not debate the logic of the set. You simply execute the rep. If you argue, you lose energy. Debate is a battery drain. Every second you spend wrestling with the question, should I quit, is a second you are not lifting. Silence the voice with action. It's not about capability. It's about integrity. When you make a deal with yourself, I will do X. That is a contract. When you negotiate the terms during the execution, you are breaching the contract. You are proving to yourself that your word is worthless. If you let yourself off the hook today, you will let yourself off the hook tomorrow, and the day after, and next year. You are building a habit of compromise. You are training yourself to be a person who folds when the pressure hits. You don't need their permission to be rigid. The world loves flexible people because flexible people are easy to bend. Flexible people are easy to break. Be rigid with your standards. Be unyielding with your promises.
The negotiator uses your intelligence against you. It uses your knowledge of rest days and burnout and mental health to convince you to soften. You've been working so hard, it says. You deserve a break. Just watch one episode of TV. Just eat one slice of pizza. It sounds like a friend. It is an enemy. It is trying to dilute your focus. It is trying to turn your 1 into a 0. Negotiation is over. Here is the tactic. The moment you hear the bargaining begin, you must use a terminate command. This is a specific phrase you say out loud or in your head that instantly ends the internal dialogue. The command is go, or no, or execute. Maybe I should skip the no. End of sentence, end of thought, move the body. You treat the negotiator like a telemarketer calling during dinner. You do not listen to the pitch. You do not ask how they are doing. You hang up. Click. You have a choice. You can buy what the negotiator is selling, which is comfort, mediocrity, and regret. Or you can hang up the phone. Think about the most successful time in your life. Did you get there by saying, maybe I'll do half? No. You got there by obsession. You got there by doing what was required regardless of how you felt. Now think about your failures. Think about the projects that never finished, the diets that failed, the dreams that faded. What happened? You negotiated. You told yourself, I'll start again on Monday. You told yourself, one cheat day won't hurt. You made a deal with the devil, and the devil took everything. That's the key. The negotiator always wins the trade. You think you are getting comfort, but you are paying with your soul. You are paying with your self-esteem. Stop trading. It's raining outside. Negotiator says, run on the treadmill instead. It's safer. Binary mind says, rain is water. Skin is waterproof. Run outside. I'm tired. Negotiator says, sleep in. You'll work better rested. Binary mind says, tired is a feeling. Wake up is a command. Get up. Every time you kill the negotiator, you get stronger. You realize that the voice is powerless. It has no hands. It has no feet. It cannot stop you. It can only suggest that you stop you. If you ignore the suggestion, the negotiator is impotent.
You don't need to psych yourself up. You don't need to watch a motivational video to take a shower. You just step in. Motivation is just another form of negotiation. It is you trying to convince yourself to do the work. It is you bringing in a third party to mediate the deal. Come on, you can do it. Let's go. Stop the cheerleading. You don't need a cheerleader. You need a commander. A commander does not cheer. A commander orders. Take the hill. Yes, sir. That is the dynamic. You are the commander. You are also the soldier. The negotiator is the coward in the trench whispering that it's too dangerous. Shoot the coward. Take the hill. Negotiation is over. When you stop negotiating, life becomes incredibly simple. The should I disappears. The can I disappears. The what if disappears. There is only the plan and the execution. There is only the requirement and the fulfillment. The mental silence you achieve when you kill the negotiator is pure bliss. It is the silence of the void. In that silence, there is no anxiety. There is only motion. You are no longer a person torn between two desires. You are a single vector of force. This is the final transformation. You have stripped away the maybe. You have burned the boats. You have ignored the pain. You have automated the boring. You have focused on results, and now you have silenced the internal enemy. There is nothing left to hold you back. There is no friction inside, and there is no friction outside. You are no longer trying to be successful. You are no longer struggling to improve. The struggle is gone because the resistance is gone. You have evolved. You are no longer a human being navigating a complex world of choices. You have become something else entirely. You have become the function. You have become the code. You are ready for the final state.
Chapter 10. Become the operator. We have reached the end of the line. We have stripped away the excuses. We have deleted the maybe. We have crushed the latency. We have silenced the voice of the negotiator. What is left? When you remove the doubt, the fear, the hesitation, and the emotional baggage, what remains standing in the center of your mind? The operator. You are no longer a person struggling to be good. You are no longer a person trying to be successful. You have transcended the struggle entirely. You have graduated from being a user of your life to being the operator of it. The operator is the final state of the binary mind. It is the point where the separation between the decision and the action disappears completely. There is no gap. There is no friction. There is only the input and the output. I am the code. I am the action. Say it. Feel the weight of it. You are not the hardware, the flesh and bone that gets tired and hungry. You are the software. You are the code that runs the machine, and code does not complain. Code does not get depressed. Code executes. Think about a pilot in the cockpit of a 747. You are at 30,000 feet. Suddenly, an engine explodes. The plane banks hard. Alarms start screaming. Red lights are flashing everywhere. The cabin is full of screaming passengers. This is chaos. This is terror. But look at the pilot. Is the pilot screaming? Is the pilot debating with the co-pilot about whether this is fair? Is the pilot paralyzed by the fear of death? No, the pilot is an operator. The pilot reaches for the checklist. The checklist is binary. Engine fire? Yes. Cut fuel? Yes. Activate fire suppression? Yes. Stabilize altitude? Yes. The pilot moves through the chaos with a terrifying calmness. They are not acting on emotion. They are acting on protocol. They are simply executing a pre-written script designed to survive the crash. That's the key. The pilot does not have to decide what to do in the moment of crisis. The decision was made years ago when the checklist was written. The pilot is just the hand that executes the logic. I am the code. I am the action. Your life is that plane.
Most of the time, you are flying through turbulence. You have financial crises. You have relationship failures. You have health scares. The amateur panics. The amateur grabs the controls and yanks them wildly, guided by fear. They crash. The operator opens the checklist. Bank account empty? Yes. Cut spending? Yes. Increase outreach? Yes. There is no stress in the cockpit of the operator. There is intensity, yes. There is focus, yes, but there is no stress. Stress comes from not knowing what to do. Stress comes from the gap between the problem and the solution. When you are the operator, there is no gap. There is only the procedure. You have a choice. You can live your life as a victim of circumstance tossed around by the storm, or you can become the cold, precise instrument that navigates through it. You must view your physical body as a machine that you are piloting. When the machine is tired, you do not say, "I am tired." You say, "The unit requires rest." When the machine is afraid, you do not say, "I am scared." You say, "Sensors are detecting risk. Proceed with caution." This detachment is not insanity, it is mastery. It allows you to step back from the chemicals flooding your brain and make the binary choice that saves your life. I am the code. I am the action. You don't need their permission to be detached. People will say you are robotic. They will say you are too intense. They want you to join them in their panic. They want you to validate their anxiety. Do not descend. Stay in the cockpit. When you become the operator, the concept of willpower becomes obsolete. You don't need willpower to brush your teeth. You don't need willpower to stop at a red light. You just do it because that is the protocol. Imagine if your entire life felt like that. Going to the gym is just protocol. Making the sales calls is just protocol. Saving money is just protocol. You aren't forcing yourself to do it. You are just running the program. The program says gym at 6 a.m., so you go. There is no internal debate. There is no drama. It is fluid. It is fast. It is effortless. It's not about motivation. It's about programming.
The operator loves the boring work because the operator knows that boring is where the data lives. The operator loves the repetition because repetition confirms the code is working. I am the code. I am the action. This mindset makes you dangerous. In a world of soft, emotional, reactive people, the operator is a predator. While they are crying about the problem, you have already executed the solution. While they are processing their feelings, you have already finished the project. You move at a speed they cannot comprehend because you are not carrying the weight of self. You have dissolved the ego into the function. You are not doing this for glory. You are not doing this for applause. You are doing this because that is what you were built to do. A toaster does not ask for praise when it toasts bread. It fulfills its function. You are a machine built for achievement. When you are not achieving, you are malfunctioning. Fix the malfunction. Run the diagnostic. Reboot the system. Do not wallow in guilt. Guilt is a system error. It is a loop that goes nowhere. I messed up. Okay, acknowledge. Correct the vector. Resume mission. That's the key. The operator has a short memory for failure and a long memory for protocol. I am the code. I am the action. Look at your life right now. Where are you still acting like a passenger? Are you waiting for someone to save you? Are you waiting for the right time? Are you waiting for inspiration? Passengers wait. Operators drive. Grab the yoke. Take control. The storm is not going to clear. The turbulence is not going to stop. The only thing that changes is you. You stop fearing the storm and start flying the plane. When you wake up tomorrow, I want you to visualize yourself flipping a switch in your mind. Label the switch operator mode. When that switch is on, you have no feelings. You have no fatigue. You have no excuses.
You are simply a biological mechanism designed to turn tasks into results. The alarm rings, switch on, feet on floor, bathroom, gym, work, 1, 1, 1, 1. You will find a peace you have never known. It is the peace of certainty. You know exactly what you are going to do, and you know exactly that you are going to do it. The anxiety of will I fail disappears, because you are not judging the outcome, you are executing the input. If the plane crashes, it crashes, but it will not crash because you hesitated. It will not crash because you were scared. It will not crash because you negotiated. It will crash only after you have exhausted every single line of code in the checklist. You will fight until the screen goes black. But you probably won't crash. You will fly. You will soar. You will reach altitudes that the passengers back in economy class can only dream of. You have a choice. You can remain human, flawed, and fearful, or you can evolve. You can become the logic that cuts through the noise. You can become the force that organizes the chaos. I am the code. I am the action. This is the end of the teaching, but it is the beginning of the application. The manual is closed. The theory is finished. We are done talking about the binary mind. Now you must live it. The world is waiting for you. It is waiting to see if you are just another dreamer with a download, or if you are the operator who will reshape reality. The test begins the moment this audio ends. The silence that follows is your starting gun. You have the tools, you have the mindset, you have the command. Do not hesitate, do not blink. You are the operator.
You have reached the end of the audio, but this is the beginning of the test. The next hour of your life is going to present you with a choice. You will feel the urge to check your phone. You will feel the urge to sit on the couch. You will feel the urge to drift back into the gray area of maybe. Reject it. You now possess the source code for a superior life. It is not complicated. It does not require talent. It requires you to look at every single problem in front of you and ask, is this a 1 or a 0? Does this move me forward or does it hold me back? There is no middle ground. There is no tomorrow. There is only the binary choice you make in the next 10 seconds. Turn this audio off, pick a task, and execute. Go.